in the sky. I'm the gas in the tank. Gonna turn it up, turn it up.
Hot 3.
Yeah, the Hot 3. So this, again, just I'll stop explaining it probably after this week. But this is a new segment this year where we pick a category and we all have to give our Hot 3 or top 3 in that category. From there, you guys can tell us who's right, who's wrong, what we missed, all that good stuff. Just comment on social media when I post it. This week, though, with college football starting, I thought we'd stick to that theme. So we'll do the top college football games of all time.
Just don't get married on a college football day.
No, people get mad about it.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start this week. So number 3 for me, and remember this is 3, 2, 1, 1 being the hottest of the Hot 3.
The hottest.
3 for me is the game of the century. That was the game in 2006. Unbeaten number 1 Ohio State 11-0 versus unbeaten number 2. That team up north 11-0 at the Shoe. They moved the game later because of all the hype surrounding the game. It's one of the only times the game was not played at noon. One of the most, it was to this day, it's one of the most watched regular season games of all times. Ohio State went up early, team up north, didn't go away, stormed back in the fourth quarter, almost tied it up, they scored a touchdown late and tried to do an onside kick to get back into it. But Buckeyes ended up winning 42-39. Complete shootout, absolute wild to watch. Over 900 yards of total offense in this game. So it was just nuts. Do you guys remember this game?
Michigan sucks.
Oh, yeah.
We were in one of our friends' basements watching it.
Yeah.
I know Bone was there. I think you were there too.
Yeah, we sure were.
Yeah, so let's see. And that was
Good
2006.
times.
Yeah, we were late high school there. Yeah. Nice. Number 2 for me, Ohio State versus the University of Miami in the 2003 Fiesta Bowl. That was the national championship game. The Buckeyes were not given a chance in hell to win this game. This was the year that the U was the U. Like, they were the U at this point. Willis McGahee got his knee blown out in the first
They were
quarter.
the returning national champions.
Yeah. And that kind of turned the tide as when Willis McGahee got his knee broken out.
That was the first significant injury I'd ever seen on TV, probably.
Where his knee just went completely backwards. You're like, what? And they showed it like over and over again. I have a Sports Illustrated from the following month just highlighting the national championship game, and there's just a still shot of his knee completely backwards. I was like, those were the days when we just like showed everybody the injuries. Like,
yeah, like we weren't alive when Theismann's like got busted off. But,
No.
like this was probably this was our generation's Theismann. Like,
oh yeah, yeah, but before Alex Smith, but yeah,
well,
because that was like Theismann.
the Alex Smith thing is still weird though because it happened to the date on the anniversary of the Theismann thing. So I think there was
the same spot in the field,
cosmic
like all that
forces
stuff.
at play.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, the play by Maurice Clarett to hawk down and strip the ball out of Sean Taylor's hand after Craig Krenzel threw an interception in the end zone. To this day, I tell everybody that's the single greatest football play I've ever seen in my entire life. It was insane.
Hands down.
Insane. Like it completely saved the game for the Buckeyes. And the Buckeyes ended up winning this game 31-24 in double overtime.
That play was absolutely insane.
It was just so stupid. And it was Sean Taylor. Like, it wasn't a nobody. It was Sean Taylor.
Well, that's what I was just going to say was, like, thinking about that Jonathan Vilma, Jeremy Shockey, like, that team. Yeah. I mean, Ken Dorsey, who's our coordinator now, right? Yeah. I mean, like, that team was stacked.
He's going to watch
Kellen Winslow. Yeah.
He's going to watch our show this week and be like, oh, sons of bitches.
I mean, the guys that were on that team.
You're still talking about it.
The guys that were on that team.
Just stacked. And we beat them in double overtime.
Craig Krenzel just haunts their memories forever.
And then number 1 for me is Texas versus USC, the 2006 Rose Bowl, which was also a national championship game.
I was also just going to say, like, it wasn't like the Ohio State team was a bad team. I mean, they had some talent.
They were very underrated.
Chris Campbell's, like, I think freshman or sophomore season. Like, there was that Mike Vance was a wide receiver then, I think. Like, they had some real talent there too.
Yeah, I mean, they were very good, but they just, like I said, just coming into this game, like that whole season, nobody gave anybody a chance against Miami.
Oh, no.
So, and then number 1, Texas versus USC, the 2006 Rose Bowl, which was a national championship game as well. USC came into this game being hyped as the greatest college football team of all time. QB and running back that year, which was Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, both Heisman finalists. Reggie Bush ended up winning it. But Vince Young all along thought he deserved it.
Didn't Leinart win it the year before?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
But Vince Young thought he deserved it that year. So he came into this game with a chip on his shoulder, and he proceeded to rush for 200 yards and throw for 267 and score a touchdown late in the game to put him up 41-38, and that was the final score.
Yeah, I know that all these guys we just talked about kind of had like up and down NFL careers, but like in the pantheon of college athletes,
they're like some of the greatest college
Vince
football
Young,
players.
Reggie Bush, especially, like two of the greatest to ever play college football. And Matt Leinart was no slouch. I mean,
No.
he was good too.
Yeah.
He backed up for a while in the NFL, but those two at the college level, just spectacular.
Yeah. And so those are my hot three. I have a couple honorable mentions, but I'll wait until you guys are done I don't want to steal your thunder if...
I'm Thunder.
Yeah, you're Thunder. I'm Thor. I don't want to steal your thunder if any of you guys have those, so I'll wait to go over those. So, Bone, what do you got for your hot three?
All right, so my 3 and 2 are the same as yours. So
we are Ohio State fans.
right.
So.
I don't watch a lot of other college football besides Ohio State, so
Fair.
all mine are Ohio State.
Fair.
So just touching back at the 2002 the game of the century, 2006, number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Michigan. Some of the players, Ohio State players on that team: Troy Smith, Brian Robisky, Ted Ginn Jr., Marcus Freeman, Malcolm Jenkins, Kurt Coleman, Anthony
so
Gonzalez,
stacked.
Brian Hartline, James Laurinaitis, Vernon Golston, Alex Boone, Chris Beanie Wells.
They
Just
would've
some of
won-
the dudes that were on that team.
Listen, I know they lost the national championship that year, like 41-14 to Florida. And I know a lot of people think I'm insane when I say this, but they would have won the national championship if Ted Ginn didn't get hurt on the opening kickoff, returning it.
After he returned,
he returned it for a touchdown, and his whole team jumped on him and broke his ankle.
Yeah.
But it completely changed the game because that duo of Ted Ginn Jr. and Anthony Gonzalez, like if you... Basically, teams, they didn't know who they were supposed to cover. And after Ted Ginn went down, they were able to double team Anthony Gonzalez the rest of the game, and it made it tough for them to get anybody open. But anyways, I digress. Go on.
No, that's great. So then number 2, the Fiesta Bowl 2002 National Championship.
Hell yes.
Just a few other players we touched on, a few. Dustin Fox.
Yeah.
Craig Krenzel, you've already said. Chris Gamble, Michael Jenkins. Maurice Claret, and Santonio Holmes was on that team as well.
Santonio Holmes, he's one of my favorite receivers of all time.
Just some of the big studs on the team at that time.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the roster. Like Troy Smith was a freshman on that roster, which I thought I didn't even think about that, but just some other guys who kind of emerged later on. And then my number 1 game isn't even. Kenny's.
You're so. I hate you. What's your number 1?
All right, so number 1 is the first year of the college football playoff where we played Alabama in the first round, and we just freaking whooped on them.
Just humped them.
Like it was like a thrashing. The score doesn't necessarily show that, but we handled Alabama when Alabama was coming in with all the hype. We were the underdogs, and Cardell Jones just lit them up.
Cardell Jones lit him up. Ezekiel Elliott, I think, ran for like 230 yards or something stupid.
Yeah, that game was just a blast. It was so much fun.
I had to make my picks, man. I had to back to back.
Kenny's making picks still.
Yeah. No, that game was fun, and
we went on to win the national championship. But I feel like the game versus Alabama,
That
in
was
the
the
first
national
round,
championship.
was the national
yeah,
championship.
because we ended up playing Oregon, who
Yeah.
we I don't even think that was a game. I think we beat them pretty handily.
It was a butt whooping.
Yeah. So
Love a
nice.
good
I like it.
bump.
I like it. Kenny, what do you got? Are you too busy drafting? You can't.
I just went back to back.
Would you like to join the show?
I'm back on the show.
Are you back on Burning River Sportscast?
Back at the Burning River Sportscast. What are we doing? Facts for days?
No.
Oh, it's hot 3.
Hot 3.
Look, I think you guys we've all said the same games here. Or maybe you didn't. Let's see. Number 3, I have App State, Michigan in 2007.
Nobody said that one yet.
34-32. Just the fact that Michigan lost to just, I mean,
to Appalachian State.
it's like Ohio
It's
State
so
losing
bad.
to like Akron or Kent. Like it's just an embarrassment for just the team up north. Like just they're
And it was so stupid. They were up. And they decided, like, all they had to do was, like,
Absolute
end the
collapse.
game. And they decided to try and kick it to go up by 6 instead of by 3. And then it got returned for a touchdown.
everything
was
about
great.
it just
It was fantastic.
embodied the trash that is Michigan.
It's fantastic.
I don't know if those numbers are quite right, how much they won by. But either way, like, they didn't have to kick it.
Just absolute trash. So love that. Number 2, Texas USC. We kind of went through that whole thing, but again, USC had won 34 straight games. Best team in the country. I mean, just what an incredible game. Came down to the wire. some of the best athletes we've ever seen in college football. And then number one for me, Ohio State Fiesta Bowl 2003 against the Miami Hurricanes. So won't relitigate that, but certainly my favorite college football game of all time.
Yeah, for all you fans that say it wasn't pass interference in the end zone.
Oh, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Was it officially triple overtime?
Or it was pass
Double overtime.
Double. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll do it for the hot three. Ohio State heavy. We may or may not be fans. Oh, I had one honorable mention that was not that neither of you guys chose, and that's Kick 6, 2013 78th Iron Bowl. When Alabama, again, as they have been for as long as I can remember, came in and all the hype. Talk about them being the best team in the country, and Auburn.
What is happening right now?
And Auburn, as time expired, Alabama was kicking a field goal, and they fielded the field goal because it was short and ran it back 109 yards for a touchdown to win the game.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so that was fantastic. But yeah, that'll do it for the hot three. Let's go ahead and take a quick revenue break, and then we'll get here and talk more Browns.